Hey, what's up, good people? How's everybody doing? This is a pre-recorded video. Well, I'm live, but when you see it, it's a pre-recorded video. So it is currently February the 15th, 2022. It's another day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. And when you see this, it will probably be February 16th, depending on when you watch this or it comes across your timeline. It will be maybe one day this week. Okay, so let me fix that for you really quick. I don't think I like that. I don't think I like the blur, the blur like that. So listen, why I fix this real quick. If you guys can invite your friends, let them know that I'm on. Because this is gonna be a pretty dope live really quick. It's called Pain Can Push You into the Wrong Places and with the wrong people. And so if you missed the live that I did on last week with some of the co-authors from God Confident Testimonies of Women of Unshakable Faith, thanks to Dr. Karen Hills Pruden and all the amazing women that was on the platform with me. It was a really great conversation. These women shared some really amazing tips. And so if you didn't catch that, please go and catch it. I was going to reshare it, and I still am. I just wasn't, because last weekend was just it was a weekend. So we're gonna get into this tonight. So again, pain can push you into the hands of the wrong people or into the wrong places. And so I'm about to ask you a question. It's like a rhetorical question, and it's funny in a way, but it's real life for a lot of people. I don't know if you ever tried to go back to your ex, and when you go back to them, they want to talk to them. They tell you, "Don't talk to me no more because I'm back with my ex, which is the love of my life." And you think, "Oh dang, I thought I was the love of your life, right?" And so, a lot of times we connect with people because of our pain points. A lot of times people find relationships, they find solace, they find covenant with people who share the same commonalities of pain. Now, I don't believe anything is wrong with that, but the dangers in staying there means that nobody's getting help, and the only thing they can identify with each other is your pain. And if all you can identify with is your pain and never the healing aspect of it, everything that you do, the way you handle things, the way you respond to things is going to be out of your pain, not out of purpose, not out of healing, not out of overcoming a breakthrough, but it's simply we only know how to deal with each other in our pain, right? I don't know what it is to have a healthy love, a healthy relationship. I really don't know how to be with you without you being in this some dark place or this dark hole. And so if one person starts to change and the other person stays the same, you say you're growing apart, which you are growing apart. Sometimes people will say, "You think you better." No, I don't think I'm better. I just don't want to stay in that situation. Or it doesn't work out because the person that you gravitated towards, now you see them in a different light because you have graduated from the level that y'all met on. And if both parties are not trying to change, if both parties are not trying to grow, and not necessarily grow in the same areas, but grow, period, it causes a lot of conflict and it causes a lot of confusion. And so my goal tonight is just to kind of share some words of encouragement, some words of motivation to help you know that when you're going through a painful situation, when you're going through a stressful or a distressful situation, that you don't have to always revert back. And I won't say always, but don't revert back to something that's less painful or less traumatic or a habit or issue because you want to temporarily eliminate the pain that you're facing right now. And I can tell you this from personal experience, going through the losses that I had in January. It's like, man, like how much more, like these, like what is going on? And you know that death is inevitable. And we don't live in a bubble, and I don't live in a bubble. But when it happens, so close to home, it's like, man, this ain't what I had in mind. This is not what I planned. And so can we connect with people because of painful situations? We can, but make sure there's a purpose that's coming out of there greater than the fact that y'all both had a loss, or greater than the fact that maybe something didn't work out, or you was raised by only your parent, only one parent, or you had an addiction, you have a similar addiction, whatever that may be. Just make sure that you don't stay stuck there. And so a lot of my things I post is it try to be inspirational. It's faith-based, a lot of it. And when I have issues, when I have drama, when I have disagreements and arguments, and I have my share of them too, social media is not where I come to air them out. Social media is not where I come to want to blast somebody. He made it very clear to me, the only name that you're lifting up, the only name you're naming is Jesus. Because if I be lifted up, I'll draw people to me. And so, of course, I share different things of, like, I've been to an event, and most of the time when I go to events, I don't share, right? A lot of times people say, I don't care if you don't post me to social media, but yet they get mad anyway. You're thinking, like, what the heck? Like, it's my social media. What is your problem? Right? And I always say this, but I'll say this again. Pictures, right? Legit pictures of people. I'm trying to get the best lighting over here because my face looks a little dark right here. I need a ring light. The ladies that was helping with social media told me, you really need good lighting. And I thought I had good lighting, but I don't know what happened. So pictures are good for the ego. Relationships are beneficial for your soul. I can go through this phone right now and post a whole bunch of pictures of a whole bunch of people, and people will be surprised. Oh, you done met them? Oh, you talk to them? You have access to them? I do. But I don't necessarily have to post and prove to somebody I've been somewhere, or I know somebody, or I've been at this event, I've been in this endeavor, I've been in this environment, right? You don't have to prove to people that. It's the relationships that really, really matter. And so, I have my share of life just like everybody else. But I'm very mindful of what I post. But I always find different quotes and wordings and memes. I watch videos, and with the billions of people that we have on this earth, right? Over 7 billion people on this earth currently. You are bound to find at least one person, even if it ain't a whole bunch of people, at least one person who will agree with whatever idea you have. It could be bad, it could be terrible, it could be violent, it could be something helpful, it could be something biblical, it could be something scriptural, it could be something non-religious, it could be something academically, professionally, corporately. You're going to find at least one person to agree with you. And so a lot of times I just stumble across things, not because I'm looking for somebody to always agree with Simene, not because I'm looking to only link up with people who think like I think, because I don't. That's how you're able to, to be stretched in your thinking, to get a different perspective. Get around people who don't think like you, get around people who don't look like you, get around people who don't have the same demographic or background as you, but get around different people so you can see there's a world outside of just what you think. There's a world outside of what you've been exposed to. There's a world outside of what you have grew up in. And so I have a couple quotes. It's probably about 10, 15, maybe more, that I've screenshot and I've added up here just to kind of make you think, because these are things, even though I didn't quote them, these are very valid things that I think about, that I've thought about, or things that's making me think even right now. So the first one, every time you remember, forgive again. I know sometimes it could be hard when people have done you wrong, but forgive again. You know why? Because we have been on that end where we needed forgiveness. And if we haven't needed forgiveness from people, we've surely needed from God. Every time you remember, every time it's a painful experience, every time it's an uncomfortable experience, just forgive again. Just forgive again. Never disrespect that person who made sure you were okay when nobody else did. Never disrespect that person who made sure you were okay when nobody else did. By the time they realize your worth, you'll be worth more. Now, I started off about your ex. Now, again, I tell you, I laughed about that, but this happens all the time. Sometimes we go back to less painful situations because it's like, well, it wasn't so bad. And I will share this other piece of advice. A lot of times people come to you because they want a listening ear, they want to get advice, especially about relationships and things like that. And if they telling you all the bad things or all the terrible things that's happening in a relationship, now you have this idea of this person, and you're thinking, well, surely why would you talk to this person again if all they ever told you was the bad? And a lot of times people will tell you the bad of what somebody did to them, but they tend to leave out the parts that they did. Now, sometimes people are just cutthroat and they do you wrong. And then there's other times where it's been warranted. And so by the time people realize your worth, you'll be worth more. So in the events of relationships or ex, if someone doesn't like you or don't see your worth, don't stress or feel like I gotta go do something different. No, you know that you are valuable, you know that you have worth, and unfortunately sometimes it's too late when people to realize, man, I really had a good thing. Man, I shouldn't have let that go. And when it comes down to people that you've talked to before, and it doesn't have to just be intimate relationship, it could be friendships, it could be ministry relationships, where when everything, maybe you had a fallout or blow up, and you realize later on, man, I really do want to go rekindle that. I really want to reconcile that. I did the work that I needed to. Let's come back together and see if this is going to be better. So I don't think all former relationships are just a no-go, at least not for me. After all that we've been through the past few years, we better be in the next Bible. I seen it on Instagram. I thought it was so funny, but I mean, we all have books. The volumes of books have been written about us, and so you got your own story, I got my own story, and so I don't know, we might make it into Bible number 2. And of course this is a joke, right? So I know some of you like, oh my gosh, there's only one Bible that was inspired by the Lord. So don't get your panties in a bunch, please. Sometimes you need to make decisions that hurt your heart but calm your soul. When I read this one day, I said, oh my. Sometimes you have to make decisions that hurt your heart but calm your soul. Let that marinate real quick. And that could be, oh, I like this person, I want to talk to this person, but you know that it ain't good for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a toxic on and off love. I want someone that chooses me every day, even when I'm hard to deal with. And there's another post up here that I'll kind of talk about a little later. This is a tweet I did not too long ago. Don't focus on who doubts your ability. Focus on who believes in your ability. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in who doesn't like me and who don't think it's good, but focus on people who believes in your ability, right? God will never leave you in a distressful place. So please don't leave God in a distressful place. And I posted this not too long ago. So, whatever you're going through, please don't leave God out of the equation. Delete that old version of me in your head. It expired. I'm not the same Simene that I was January 1st, 2022. I ain't that same woman. February the 15th, 2022. I'm not the same person that I was January the 5th, 2022. I'm ever evolving, I'm ever changing. And you know that with life, when certain situations, circumstances hit your life, it causes an internal change that you may not have planned for, but it has forced you into a change that you now have to deal with. Sometimes someone said, because I carry it well, don't mean it ain't heavy. I felt that. I believe people hide behind like titles, especially like with ministry stuff. People hide behind titles and all kinds of things. People hide behind prayer. I'm gonna just pray about it because they too lazy to do anything about it. So they just say I'm gonna pray, and prayer is a form of doing something. But I believe that after you pray about something, God will give you instruction to do something. He said, "Don't be a hearer only, but do it. Be a doer as well." He's gonna give us something to do. Um, a lot of times in order for us to receive that promise or whatever we're looking for him. And so when it comes to just going through life, everybody, we're all human. Like I've made a post, I don't grieve like an unbeliever, I grieve like a human. And it's okay to cry, it's okay to miss somebody, it's okay to articulate how you feel. I'm thankful for counsel, I'm thankful for therapy, I'm thankful for mentors and accountability where I can share. I'm thankful for sisters that I can say, listen, this is where I am. Yes, I had probably one of the most liberating conversation I've had in a while with a sister who she's really my gift. I always say that she's my millions 21 gift. But if you know that James scripture where it talks about confess your faults one to another, that you may be healed, the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. People always talk about the last part, but don't nobody want to confess your faults. And I'm telling her, girl, listen, this is where I am currently. And I mean, this was real time. This wasn't what Simene was last month. This is not what Simene was last year. This was real time. What Simene was last week. What Simene was when they was on the phone. What Simene, it was real time. Where you can find people that you can say, this is where I am right now. Let me confess to you all the things I'm thinking about, all the things that I've been doing, all the things that I desire to do. Because guess what? When you start confessing one another, now it's a level of accountability. Then it says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. I'm talking about it because I don't want to stay in this situation. And then we're going to pray about, sometimes you may pray about it with them right then, or now they know specifically what to pray about for you. So find you somebody that you can confess your faults to. Find you somebody that you can open up with and you can talk to. You have to run to social media. I made a post today. I wrote a blog about my grandmother. And one of the things I put in there, I don't go to social media for pity or attention. Facebook is the predominant platform where I have a larger audience, right? And I know a lot of people see, they don't always comment, but I know that they see because they do make comments to me personally, or they'll send me messages, right? So not necessarily on the page. And so if I wanted to get attention, I know exactly what to put. If I wanted somebody to feel pitiful for me, I could post, oh my God, right? And so, just because people bear it, just because people, it looks like it's not heavy for them, it is. Just because you may not see them falling apart doesn't mean that they don't fall apart. My best person to fall apart with is God, because he always puts me back together. I haven't been up to really do no work. I was on a podcast tonight about building a healthy relationship with a educator. He actually lives in Maryland with his wife. And we didn't know that until I got on the platform, but we shared one of our speaker coaches with each other. And he was like, you can see from she's smiling that, she's going to bring the positive energy. And I told him, I was like, it's literally the joy of the Lord. I specifically told the Lord after I had such a rough, sad, crying, oh my gosh, what is going on weekend. Sunday evening, I went to a service. I usually go to the service in DC, maybe once or twice a month. I went. Powerful service. At the end, they had the female who's over their singles ministry to pray for the singles, and then they had a married couple to pray over the marriages. I mean, I received all of those prayers, both for the single and both for the married. And I told God, I said, God, I don't want to be sad tomorrow. I don't want to be sad tomorrow. And then at first I was like, well, I don't want to cry. And I was like, no, crying is normal. Jesus wept. But I don't want to be sad. And then I went and took a step further. Father, I don't want to be sad this week. Last week was enough. I don't want to be sad this week. And truly, he is empowering me and helping me. Things that I didn't think I would be able to do. Things that, I thought would be very painful. He is helping me. So talk to him. But when you see people, just because they carry it well, it doesn't mean it's heavy. It doesn't mean that it doesn't bother them. It doesn't mean that they're not going through just like the next person, but how you go through, who you go through with it. Who are you connected to when you go through it? that's going to make all the difference. Be patient while this plays. Some of you are losing your mind about something God has already worked out. I've been working on my own personal book. It's called My Heart Under a Microscope. It's an in-depth book. It's part to a portrait and prose book. It's an in-depth look at my relationship with D'Amico. And it started from middle school, and it ended when he passed away at the top of January. And so I've been doing a lot of writing because writing is really a form of therapy for me. It helps me express my thoughts and get things out, right? And so sometimes you don't understand things and you have your own opinions about it until really God has to give you clarity and he starts to reveal and show you things. And you're thinking like, man, like this it was a major shock for me. Like, oh my gosh. And as much as he was telling me, like, now I don't think you know how serious this is, I kept believing the Lord. I just kept saying, Lord, you got to heal him. I know you're going to heal. Like, that's where my focus was. And I think because I was so adamant and for sure that God would heal him on this side, that when it all happened, I'm just like stunned in disbelief and all kinds of things. And so that'll be coming out really soon. I've taken a break from writing that because, again, you get overwhelmed and it's like, man, I need to take a break and a step back. The good thing for those of you who have been following me because of the article I wrote about him in the end of December is that I finally have the manuscript that he wrote. I received that yesterday, and I was up early this morning. When I read it last night, it put a lot of different things in perspective, and it's like, wow, this man had a story to tell. Seriously. And our stories do not parallel each other at all. His experience was totally different from my experience growing up in Baltimore, then moving to North Carolina where I met him. It's different. But we found a commonality. We found a respect. We found a love for one another that's like, you just figure out how you can, what do you have in common with someone versus always looking at their differences or always looking at their flaws. Not to say we just totally overlook somebody and like, yo, you gonna fix that? Like, you working on that? Or can I assist you with that? But it's just, you go through stuff and you think, wow, God, or you thinking that you're trying to make a move this way, and God says, no, I'm gonna move this way because I know what's best for you. Don't treat people the way they treat you. Treat people the way God treats you. I was reading a devotional yesterday where it talks about don't repay evil with evil, repay evil with good. Sometimes it could be hard. Like going back to the whole ex situation. Say if you did reach out to somebody, or you like somebody, you like your ex or whatever, and they be like, I don't want to talk to you, you whatever, you whoop, right? Still wish them well. Just because you're going through doesn't mean you want to see people that are happy going through, right? Wish people well, even if it's not with you. Wish them well. Now, this was funny. Buying your man, okay, a PS5 when you know he needs a leapfrog is crazy. And one thing that I learned a few years ago that really shaped my perspective again when it came to reading, being a reading teacher, especially with my boys, is when D'Amico shared with me how so many men in prison cannot read. That school to prison pipeline is so real. And most of the times when students are labeled with special needs, they're the ones who don't get the proper instruction. If you're in a classroom where students may be a little challenging behaviorally, a lot of instruction is not going on, so they continue to push people through, and then students end up graduating or getting certificates or whatever they get, and they cannot read. And because they cannot read, they can't get a job, they can't really function on their own. So then they start committing crimes to get money and make a way or living for themselves. So we got to make sure that literacy is for real. Literacy, the ability to read and write, is one of the key metrics that sets people apart. So when I learned that as a reading teacher, I was adamant, I got to help you guys read, because I don't want you to be out here not being able to function for yourself, so you turn to crime in order to make ends meet. Never be so lazy that you betray yourself. Never be so lazy that you betray yourself. It's okay to fall apart. Sometimes tacos fall apart, and all the time we still love them. So it's okay if you got to fall apart. You know, the danger of falling apart with the wrong hands is people can take advantage of you. But it's okay to fall apart. Just fall apart around the right people, and God is always the greatest person you can fall apart with. This one I felt. I'm going to build with you, but I'm not fixing you. Stop getting fixer uppers. You know, flipping property, Airbnbs, wholesaling. I get all that. The real estate is good at fixer uppers. As people, you don't need to try to come with your toolkit to fix somebody. Work on building you. Work on fixing your issues. Work on helping them become who they need to be. But if you're looking for projects, it won't be an enjoyable experience. Because a lot of times what happens is you coming, them as a project, they see you in a way that you're going to help them. And a lot of times, if all you know and can relate to them is based on their problems, once they get well, y'all start to have confusion and tension, and then they leave and go be with somebody else who now they're in a better position, and we looking in, or people looking like, oh my goodness, when they was with me, they wasn't doing blah, blah, blah. But if you picked a fixer upper and now you're trying to fix them and y'all don't make it past the fixer upper stage, you have a person that you don't know and they don't know you, and it's like, well, I'm out of here because I don't need fixing anymore, and they don't know how to interact with me unless they're giving me a directive, unless they're trying to tell me what to do, unless they're trying to, build them up. It won't work. Here's another one. People will like your post and still hate your guts. I ain't lying to you. People will like your post. People will comment on your post and still hate you. So don't get caught up in all that, because I see it all the time. Be with someone who will sit down and say, let's fix it, instead of being childish and ignoring you. This is one of the greatest things I learned this season, where people who love you, people who really care, people who really, really want you as much as you want them, they will say, let's fix it no matter what. Let's fix it. I'm upset. I'm mad right now, but we're going to get through this. We got to figure it out. Be with somebody who wants to fix it instead of just walk away and ignore you and put all the blame on you. Like, I wrote a lot of stuff. And one thing about my book that I'm writing that entails a lot of me and D'Amico is that I will be sharing a lot of just relationship things, period, because I've been in several relationships. And I will tell you guys, just because you don't see people posting don't mean that they single. That's word up. And I seen a thing on TikTok. I made a video where I recorded the video. It's like, yo, I ain't about to post nobody that I'm with unless I'm married, because in 6 months, if it don't work out, I don't want you to be like, oh my God, I thought she was with him. And oh my God, I thought she was with her. And oh my God, I thought they was together, right? So you'll never see me posting anybody on my page. If you see me posting somebody on my page that ain't a brother or a sister in the Lord, you better know that they meant something to Simene. That's real talk. If you ever see me posting somebody that was not a sister or brother-in-law, was not my friend, but it was a significant other, you best believe they meant something to me. So one thing about like relationships, especially with a lot of people that I talk to, and again, that could be a reflection of me, because something attracts us to people. But one of my exes, I know for sure, and I'm not just saying this for whatever reason, but this chick is straight a narcissist, like straight up. She doesn't take responsibility for anything that she does. She's so freaking mean and cold-hearted at times. And I used to tell like, your mouth is slick. You know what I'm saying? I would laugh at some things I said, but I don't like it when it's turned on me. And those are things that I would share with her. about being mean and cold. I never said you was a narcissist, because I've been studying and hearing a lot about that until I really got a full understanding. Like, chick, you fall up under all that category, like totally up under that category, right? But I'll be sharing from a perspective of relationships, working relationship, professional relationship, ministry relationships, intimate relationships. Most of you know my story, so I can give it to you from a perspective of a man, talking to a man, and a perspective from talking to a woman. So here's the next one. I block people. That's the post. I block people. If you bring disrespect or drama to my life, or I feel some kind of way with seeing your post, I will block you. And you should have the liberty in your own self to know I'm okay if I block you. I've been a blessing to a lot of people that ain't been nothing but a lesson to me. And you got to know that sometimes you got to take the lesson and keep moving. So when you decide maybe something happens or comes up with you and you like, man, this is hurtful, painful, I want to return to addictions or sex, drugs, money, people, whatever that is, think about it. What's the lesson that you learn from that? What is the lesson you're supposed to learn from that? Then we have stop overplaying your role. Deal with people how they deal with you, hardly, barely, or accordingly, right? And that's just it. We got to deal with people the way they deal with us. And then the last one, until you stop stalking my page, everything you see is going to piss you off. Until you stop stalking Simene Walden's pages, everything you see going to piss you off. And the last one that I could not find it, but it says, be a good person. So every time somebody posts something, you're not offended and thinking it's you. Just be a good person. Everything I post, and I shared this with one of my sisters, and I was like, most of the stuff I post is not in real time, right? I might post it months later, years later. I might write about it. I might talk about, do a video, but it's never really in real time. Now, some of the stuff I share with you tonight is real time, like for real. But a lot of stuff is not in real time. So I'm not talking about somebody specifically. A lot of these things could apply to a lot of people, but that's not the whole point. It's to point fingers at other people, but it's really to give you some encouragement and hope and say, listen, you can overcome, we can do better. Here's a couple more. Imagine a man, or you can say a woman, who knew that prayer was more intimate than sex. So your spouse, if you're a man and you have your blue thing, imagine knowing prayer is more intimate than sex. When I love, I actually love. Nobody has my attention like the person I love. Cheating just isn't something that interests me. When you with somebody, just be with somebody. If you want to be single and you don't want to be committed, then just be single and not committed. But don't cheat on people, because then you hurt them even the more. And then they be trying to figure like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And then you looking and seeing the other person thinking, well, sometimes they not even cute. And what I found out too, exes get really mad at you when you tell them that their ex or the person they with ain't cute. They get real offended by that, right? So don't cheat. And then your circle has to be able to pray, cry, and laugh with you, because seasons change. And I'm here to tell you, as a woman who's done, my season totally changed. My sisters and a few of my good brothers have lifted my arms through all of this, where I'm not happy and bubbly, I'm crying, I'm sad, and they just there praying, encouraging me, from from sending me flowers to sowing seeds, giving money, to come in to see me, to pray. Like, it's like God will send what you need when you need it. People texting me, FaceTiming me just to make sure I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Checking on me, like sending words of encouragement. Like those things go a long way. And so don't always be the person that also just only want to talk to people when they sad, so you can tell people that they sad. That's another post I'm gonna make. I ain't talking to nobody who want to talk to me when I'm sad, just so you can go tell somebody you talked to me when I was sad. Like, what the heck, right? So just be there for people in your influence and your sphere of influence, because you never know what people are going through. I know sometimes we say that, and of course, people's life, we all live. Life can be, I hate to use the word busy, but life can be, life is life, where people got stuff to do. And so, when tragedy happens or tragedy is, occurs, people seem to be there in the immediate, what they can see, touch, and feel. But as the months and weeks and days go by, years go by, nobody's asking anymore. Check on your friends. We see these posts. Check on your strong friends, but just check on your people, because you just never know. And so I pray that this has blessed you guys tonight, or this morning, whenever you may see this. Don't choose a lesser painful situation because of what you're going through is very hurtful. What you're going through is very heavy. What you're going through seems to, be overbearing. There's at least one other person in this world that will agree with you. There'll be more than one person in this world that will be able to relate to you. So reach out, get the help that you need. Grieve well. I keep saying this. Grief does not start or stop at the grave. Some people are grieving relationships right now of people who are not even dead. Grieve well. Find you somebody you can talk to in real time. And I know sometimes for me, I'm a big texter. I've been a big texter for a long time, right? So sometimes if I don't want to talk on the phone, I don't want to FaceTime, I will send a text, right? You know what I'm saying? But people sometimes when you call me, it's like, I don't have it. And if I'm in a really bad space, I don't want to talk to you for those very reasons, because then you want to be on what's wrong now, and it's like I don't want to get into that. And then sometimes with grief, you just bust out crying, and you don't even know why the heck you busting out crying. And it all of a sudden it'll just hit you. So I want to share these things with you guys tonight. Now, I know a lot of people say you don't gotta make no announcements that you're going off of social media. Just go off of social media. Because I know that a lot of people watch me on social media, especially Facebook, in March, probably midway of March, I will be taking a total break from social media, everything except LinkedIn. One, because LinkedIn, once you say goodbye, you lose all your contact. I won't be posting there, but LinkedIn will still be up there. And I think I may still keep my TikTok. Not sure. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. Within that time frame, and if I do, then I'll just use that as a way to create content. But Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I will not be on that for some time. And even with TikTok, I think I will limit that down to a whole lot too, just so I can focus and recenter, and sometimes delete it out. Not having it is a discipline that you need to jumpstart the discipline of not being on it even when it's available, right? So just let some of you know now, I have a text community and I will give you that information. I have an email list, and people tell you that I don't email or send out text messages often. But in case you were trying to figure out, well, how will I stay in contact? That would be one way. And of course, you can always, send me an email if you're ever worried. So those are things that's coming up with Simene. Again, my prayer CD comes out on Monday, which is exalted. I'm really, really thankful to the Lord that we are here at this place. You can Google my name on any streaming platform. You can Google Exalted and you will see it as pre-order $129, and of course it'll come to your device on Monday, and then of course you can download it on Monday as well. So I just wanted to bring it to you guys tonight. I love you guys with the love of the Lord, and pray for your people too. Pray for your people, guys, in the midst of all the things that's going on. Like, there's a lot of perspectives out here on a whole bunch of things. And I'm a lot of things that I thought about, a lot of things that I thought were right, a lot of things that I felt strongly about. A lot of my opinions are changing. A lot of things that I once thought or believed are changing. And so I would say, make sure you have a relationship with God yourself. And then don't be stuck by the opinions of other people, because if we constantly live in opinions of other people, you will constantly negate the true happiness of your life. And for me, as far as me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. That's one. And two, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be walking in my truth. I'm gonna be walking in all the things that God has for me, and I'm gonna live a happy life. And so you got to be okay with whatever your happiness look like. You got to be okay with whatever your joy looks like. You're gonna have to be okay with that. So I love you guys tonight with the love of the Lord, and I will talk to you guys soon. Let me know how you enjoyed this live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what things you may implement in your life. And then if you're looking for a speaker, a trainer, or a consultant You can always reach out to me if you're looking to get your book published in 2022. You can definitely look out for me. Reach out to me and I will get you a 15-minute consultation with me so we can kind of talk about it. I offer premium services, so it's a premium price. We're no longer cheap. We're no longer just kind of throwing something together. This is my full-time endeavor business that I do now. And so, I don't have a backup teacher plan anymore. I don't have a job on the side. Well, in case this don't work out, I don't have it no more. So, I've increased my prices on every service that I have. And so, for some of you might say, oh, that's too much. I understand. You can find somebody else within your price point. But if you're ready to level up with your publishing and you get somebody who's not only going to help you publish your book, but help you walk through that story and build that thing out where it's going to be an amazing experience, you definitely want to contact